It was supposed to dethrone the Boeing 747, the new king of the skies. But in 2021, production officially stopped. Ironically, in Dubai, this giant still rules the sky. This is the story of a plane that failed to rise, but never really fell. In the early 2000s, Europe had a dream so big it could only take flight. Airbus decided to build the most ambitious aircraft in aviation history, the Airbus A380. Imagine a double-deck plane, not just a half-deck like the 747, but 2 full floors of passengers, bars, lounges, and first-class suites floating above the clouds. Technically, it was a masterpiece. The A380 could carry more than 500 passengers in comfort, and an all-economy layout up to 853 people. That's not a plane, that's a small moving city. Each of its 4 engines, Rolls-Royce Trent 900 or Engine Alliance GP7200, cost about as much as a private island. Yes, an island. When the A380 first flew in 2005, the world was stunned. It entered commercial service in 2007, and for a brief moment, it felt like the future had arrived. But that honeymoon didn't last long. Production delays, the 2008 financial crisis, and the sudden rise of smaller twin-engine jets started chipping away at the Super Jumbo's throne. From that point on, the road for the mighty A380 began to tilt downhill. To be honest, as a flying mall, the A380 is hard to hate. Its cabin is unbelievably spacious. 2 full decks, complete with hidden lounges and even a shower in first class. This isn't just a plane, it's a 5-star hotel that can fly. With a range of around 8,000 nautical miles and cruising at Mach 0.85, passengers could cross continents in absolute comfort. Flying on the A380 feels like a vacation before your vacation even starts. You sit back, watch the world shrink below, and feel like you're inside a floating shopping mall in the sky. But no matter how magnificent a plane may be, aviation isn't just about comfort. There are harsher forces at play: cost, efficiency, and business strategy. And that is where trouble began for the giant. But the A380's biggest problem wasn't in its luxury cabin. It was in the business behind it. First, the market changed. Airlines began shifting to a point-to-point model. Passengers could now fly directly between cities without stopping at massive hub airports. For that, smaller planes were far more efficient. Twin-engine long-range jets like the Boeing 787 and the Airbus A350 became the new favorites. Lighter, cheaper to operate, and flexible enough to fly more routes with fewer empty seats. Second, infrastructure. Not every airport could handle a giant like the A380. Runways had to be lengthened, taxiways widened, and even gates redesigned just to fit the beast. Every upgrade meant more cost, and not every airport was willing to pay. Third, cargo. The Boeing 747 stayed profitable because its freighter version kept the line alive. The A380's cargo model canceled before it ever took off. FedEx and UPS both walked away. And then came the bad timing. Production delays, the global financial crisis of 2008, and finally, the pandemic, grounding dozens of A380s permanently. Air France retired its entire fleet. Spectacular in design, but far too heavy for the economics of modern aviation. And then came the plot twist. After the pandemic, passenger demand exploded, but new wide-body jets were still in short supply. So airlines began to look inside their hangars and woke the giant from its long sleep. Lufthansa brought the A380 back to life, flying once again from Munich to New York and Tokyo. Etihad followed, reactivating its fleet for routes to London Heathrow, a hub so crowded even one giant plane made perfect sense. But not everyone came back. Air France retired all of its A380s for good, closing the chapter on its Super Jumbo era. Still, in many places, the giant returned stronger than ever. Airports that once parked them in desert storage were suddenly preparing gates again for double-deck boarding. The A380 failed to rule the skies, but somehow it refused to die. But nowhere did the A380 shine brighter than in Dubai. For Emirates, the A380 was never a burden, it was a gold mine. While other airlines hesitated, Emirates doubled down. They became the biggest A380 operator on Earth, not shrinking their fleet, but even buying back aircraft after production ended in 2021. Sir Tim Clark, the president of Emirates, insisted the Super Jumbo would fly well into the late 2030s, and now, possibly until 2040. He even suggested a modernized version, lighter materials, better aerodynamics, and new generation engines promising up to 25% fuel savings. And to keep passengers loyal, Emirates launched one of the most ambitious cabin retrofits ever, Premium Economy, redesigned suites, and a refreshed onboard lounge, turning the A380 into a sky palace for a new generation of travelers. In a world chasing smaller and cheaper, Emirates chose bigger, bolder, and kept the giant alive. So, was the A380 a failure? Yes, in business terms, it was. The program ended in 2021, never reaching the sales needed to pay back its massive investment. But in the skies, failure isn't always measured in profit. The A380 delivered something money can't buy: silence in the cabin, space to breathe, and a kind of comfort no other aircraft has ever matched. On the right routes, from the right hubs, it proved something extraordinary. Size isn't a weakness when demand is stronger than gravity. And for passengers, the A380 became a legend, a double-deck cathedral in the clouds where even economy felt like a privilege. A plane that never truly ruled the skies, but one the skies will never forget. The lesson: in the skies, size doesn't always mean power. The Airbus A380 fell to a new generation of aircraft, smaller, lighter, and far more efficient for airlines to operate. But when people want to fly like they're inside a floating hotel, the A380 still reigns as the favorite. 2 full decks, lounges, even a shower in the sky. This isn't just transportation. It's an experience worth paying extra for. A king that failed to claim the throne, yet somehow became eternal. A plane no longer in production, but in the hearts of passengers and aviation lovers. Its name will never truly disappear. Subscribe and unlock more absurd stories that actually happened. Reality is stranger than fiction. Join us.